Hey everyone, it's October 2021 again, and we are now entering into Q4 of the year. And just like every Q4, every time of the year, this is the time when Facebook ads, YouTube ads, all these different kinds of advertising becomes really expensive. And if you run ads, you are likely going to see an increase in your cost, your CPM, which basically stands for cost per thousand impression, and basically everything else is going to go crazy. And this doesn't mean that you should just stop running ads and do nothing, especially if you still want leads coming in for the last quarter so that you can crush your sales target or your revenue target for the year. So in this video, I want to break down why so that we understand how to navigate it and a few ways for you to lower your CPM and deal with the rising ad cost for Q4. So before I dive into it, I appreciate the early thumbs up, and if you are new to this channel, welcome. Every week I post videos on how I build multiple 7 to 8 figure businesses, including offer creation, funnels, and ads, what I'm currently investing in for passive income, and productivity hacks to do more with less because I am very lazy. If you are into any of that, do consider subscribing to my channel. So let's get back to the video. So the first thing is understand why this is happening, and Q4 is usually the time of the year where everything is most expensive when you are running ads. And the reason is because this is a holiday season, or this is a season where people are starting to spend money. So we have a lot of events such as Black Friday, Cyber Monday for those of you in the West area. And then in places like Asia or Southeast Asia, we have sales like 10/10 or 11/11. Basically, it means 10 of October and 11 of November. So there'll be all these sales going on, and as well as Christmas. So what's happening is that big companies now are going to ramp up their spending, and they are spending a huge amount of budget. These are companies that are spending multi-million dollars in budget, and this will basically cause all the ad costs to rise. And also for some companies, marketing departments will have budget assigned to them at the beginning of the year, and now they need to finish up the budget by the end of the year. So what's happening is that because there are so many companies spending millions of dollars, and because most ad platform goes by a bidding system, there's a spike in demand, and because the supply is the same, so generally you see a higher ad cost. So one of the main things that you'll see is this thing called CPM. CPM stands for cost per thousand impression, and basically it will double or even triple during this period. And once again, most people will just turn off their ads and just do a wait and see approach. I personally do not like that. I always believe that doing something and getting it wrong is better than not doing anything and then getting it wrong. Because in the former, if you do something and then you get it wrong, you at least have a chance to get it right. If you do not do anything at all, your only chance is you're going to get it wrong. There's this thing called sin of commission and sin of omission. And it's very interesting that, it has been proven time and time again that sin of omission usually causes more damage than sin of commission. So again, commission means that you do something and then it happens to be wrong. Rather than sin of omission, that means you do something wrong by not doing anything. So to give you an example, when COVID-19 happened, and there was a huge wealth transfer, that's going on. And what happened was that the wealth transferred from people who were not doing anything to people who were doing something. So I'm gonna give you an example. When COVID-19 first happened in Singapore, there was a whole lockdown. I remember that I was running a seminar company, a seminar and education company, and we have other competitors. And what happened is that all the other competitors took the safer approach, which is to do nothing and wait and see, because we do not know what's going to happen. About 10 years ago, there was this virus called SARS, and SARS didn't last that long, right? It lasted about 3 months to 6 months, but pretty much the economy got going. The lockdown didn't happen for very long, so businesses started to run again without any issue. So I think a lot of businesses thought that was going to happen, and so they just decided to do a wait and see approach. However, for us, we just decided that we're going to shift everything online. Now, we do not know what's going to happen, right? There's a chance that if we shift everything online and this virus is not as serious as it is, then we have wasted all the time going online. But again, because sin of commission is better than sin of omission, we decided to do that. And what happened was that it turns out that we were right. So when you are right, and you did something and you are right, you are usually heavily rewarded because other people are not doing anything. So what happened was that because we did that, right, we basically got the entire market while all our competitors were not doing anything. And because of that, we were able to grow from zero, because that was a new company. We went from zero to $12 million in just 1 year. And most of our competitors got knocked out because of that. So again, like when it comes to ads, right, like everybody is predicting this to happen. And what most people will try to do now is just stop their ads and not run anything. So this could be a good chance for you to actually even get cheaper cost per lead. It happened to us last year before. So it's better for you to do something. And so I'm going to share with you guys right now what are some things that you can do to lower your CPM. And even if that doesn't happen, what else can you focus on? So Number one, if you want to lower your CPM, basically lower the cost of your ads, the first thing you got to do is start to go as broad as possible. So CPM is usually determined by how narrow your targeting is. That means the more narrow you target, which means that you're targeting a very narrow group of audience or a very small group of audience, you usually tend to see CPM higher than when you're trying to target a wider group of people. So for example, in Singapore, because we run a lot of ads in Singapore, we have about 5 million population. So when we try to run ads that target 100,000 people, right, which is quite a niche group of people, we usually see 2 times or even 3 times higher CPM compared to when we just put like targeting the entire Singapore. So for us, because Singapore is like 5 million population, we can target the whole country. So obviously, if you're targeting places like US, you can't target the whole entire US, but at least you can target maybe a city area rather than trying to go narrow in terms of your targeting. Okay, so this is the time to go broad. Use big keywords and start targeting a wide range of people. What we did last year was that we basically just create an ad campaign and then we targeted a bunch of broad targeting rather than narrow targeting. And I remember there was one campaign that did very well for us, and it was literally just broad, which means that we did not use any targeting. We just put Singapore, and then we put age 18 to 65, and then we just let Facebook run. Okay, so there was no targeting at all, and that gave us a much cheaper CPM and converted very well for us. The next thing that you want to do is to use automatic placement. So what's automatic placement? If you go on Facebook or you go on like Google, usually they will ask you, where do you want to run your ads on? So what you want to do is to check that automatic placement and let Facebook or whatever platform that you're using, let them decide what to do. So Facebook can sometimes run the ads on audience network. Sometimes it can run it on Facebook. Sometimes it can run it on Instagram. Just check that box. Let Facebook decide what to do. Generally, when you let Facebook have the control, you will see a lower CPM. So in short, the more you want to control where Facebook is targeting, what Facebook wants to target, the higher the CPM. But the more you let Facebook decide and say, you know what, I trust you, Facebook, and just do what you want, you will usually see a much lower CPM. So I think that's how they reward you, because you're basically allowing the algorithm to do what they think is best. So of course, there are certain seasons where this will not work, because there are certain times that it's better to do narrow targeting. But in a period like this, in Q4, where everything is expensive, it's much better to just let Facebook or any platform that you are running ads on, let them decide. And once again, I always say that let any other platform that you are running ads on decide. Why am I talking about that? It's because most ad platform runs on the same kind of algorithm, right? So I'm using Facebook as an example, but if you're running ads on TikTok, if you're running ads on YouTube, or if you're running ads on LinkedIn, it's probably going to be the same thing. Okay, number 3, make sure you turn on detailed targeting expansion. So basically, when you run ads, there's a checkbox where it allows you to check this thing called detailed targeting expansion. And again, other ad platforms will probably have something like this, but they just call it a different name. And what this means, again, is giving Facebook the control, right? So basically what this means is that when you have a certain group of targeting, if you check this box, you allow Facebook to target out of the interest or out of the keywords that you are trying to target. So let's say you're trying to target mothers, right? And if you check this box, you are allowing Facebook to maybe target more than just mothers, maybe fathers, okay? And again, it goes back to the same principle. The more you allow Facebook to make the decision, the cheaper your CPM will be. So some of you here will be thinking, okay, but what if, I just want to target mothers? And if I check that and then, Facebook will target fathers and it will waste my ad budget. So once again, don't think like that, because when you allow Facebook to do what they want to do, yes, they may show a group of people that may not really be your target audience at all. But because your overall CPM is going to be way cheaper, you're still going to get a cheaper objective or cheaper conversion at the end with the end goal, right? So what you want to really think about is focus on the end in mind. And the end in mind is cost per lead or cost per sale. So it doesn't really matter if, if I'm targeting just mothers, but my cost per sale is, let's say, $50. Or if I just allow Facebook to do what they want, but then my cost per sale is $40. So it's cheaper at the end of the day. So don't care so much about the details where Facebook will waste your budget on different group of people whatsoever, because your overall CPM could be a lot cheaper. So your ultimate end results might be lower than what you're trying to do, okay? So I hope that makes sense, right? So in short, focus on the objective that you want, the end result, which is your cost per conversion, your cost per lead, your cost per application. That's what matter most. Okay, so test it out and see whether is it cheaper. Okay, and I can almost guarantee you 80-90% of the time when we turn on detailed targeting expansion, we get cheaper results. Okay, number 4, use CBO campaign. CBO campaign simply means campaign budget optimization. So on Facebook, you can optimize your budget on the campaign level or on the ad set level. What you want to do is to tick that checkbox to turn on campaign budget optimization. Okay, and once again, because when you do CBO or campaign budget optimization, you allow Facebook to decide which targeting or which kind of interest targeting will work best for you. So again, giving Facebook the control rather than you having the control of where you want to spend your money on each ad set. So hopefully that makes sense to you. These are just 4 simple things that you can do to lower your CPM. So if you do all 4 of them, you're likely going to see a decrease in CPM, even though it's much more expensive for everyone else. Now, I want to cover one last thing before we end this video, is what to do even if all this does not work. So there's a small possibility because, a lot more companies are spending online right now. With what's going on with the world right now, with the pandemic still going on, and people are still stuck at home, I think companies have learned the power of social media ads. And so I think last year, it was when they got a taste of it, right? Because last year was when, the whole lockdown happened, and social media ads was very effective, right? Because people are stuck at home, they have nothing they can do. And so in terms of social media usage, the attention is all on social media. And because of that, when companies that are running ads, they are getting a higher return on their ad spend. So I think this is going to be something that, a lot of companies have discovered last year. And so now they're going to double down on it. So there's a small chance that even though you do all the things that I just mentioned to you, it may not work as well as we hope to be. But there's still 2 more things that you can do even if all this does not work. So the first one is you want to relaunch your ads a few times. When I mean relaunch, it means that, so let's say you run a budget of $20, $30 on a certain campaign and you run it for 3 days. Okay, my recommendation, you usually run $20, $30 for 3 days, and then you see whether are you getting the results you want before you increase your budget. So let's say you do that, okay, and it doesn't work, right? Let's say the CPM is too high, you're not getting any conversions, or you're not getting the cost per result that you want. So what you want to do is to try a few times. Turn off the ads and then recreate another ad, the same exact targeting, the same exact settings, okay, and test it out for another 3 days. So I know this is a bit unconventional, but doing a season like that where ad cost is very expensive, sometimes it's important to just relaunch your ads a few times and allow Facebook to just find a new target audience, because you're targeting a broad target audience. Every time you relaunch your ads, every time you recreate a campaign, so for example, right, if you're targeting like just Singapore, which is 5 million population, and you're only spending $20, $30, what's happening is that Facebook will spend the $20, $30 on a certain group of people. And then when you relaunch your ads, Facebook may spend that budget on a different group of people. And that different group of people could convert better than the first group of people. So if it doesn't work, don't worry, at least just turn it off, but try to relaunch it 2 to 3 times. So that's what we always do. So we create a campaign, $20, $30 a day, and then run it for 3 days. Doesn't work, turn it off. We will duplicate the campaign, relaunch it again, turn it on again, and then for another 3 days. And then if it doesn't work, we will do it again for another 3 days. So normally we do at least 2 to 3 times for a certain particular group of people that we want to target. So try that. That should help you to lower down your CPM and hopefully get you the cost per result that you want. So the last thing you want to do is to take this time to just focus on your email list. Because if you have a set of email lists, this is the time that you should be spending most of your time on. It doesn't cost you a single cent more to send emails, okay, except for the autoresponder and the software that you're paying. And this is why email comes back into play. I think a lot of people think that email lists and email marketing is outdated, but it is one of the most important traffic source in your business, because it is traffic that you own, traffic that you don't have to pay money for to reach out again. So I posted a video a few weeks ago talking about how I was able to use email marketing to generate an additional $100,000 in just 1 week for my business. I think it's more important now than ever to really look at your email list strategy if you have an email list strategy at all. And I'll put that link to the video somewhere around this video as well as in the description. So if you really want to go and watch that video to understand how powerful email marketing is and what are some of the strategies that still works today. So rather than doing nothing, just spend more time to build a relationship with your leads. Figure out what they want and start sending more emails to them, not just promotional emails, but emails that build relationship, build emails that gives them value and good content to them before asking for a sale. So I hope that this video has provided you with a few strategies that you can apply and hopefully help you to get over this high ad cost during this period. And once again, even if it doesn't work for you, don't worry. This is something that will pass every single year. Usually we start to see the CPM start dropping around the period of early November to late November, and then things will go back to normal again. So let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section. If any questions, go ahead and ask it in the comment section. I will be replying every single one of them. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content for more videos like this. That's all I have for you today. Bye for now.